Hey there crafters, welcome back to Gina C Creates. Today I have a fun sports theme card that you could create with your Cricut. I am going to show you the step-by-step so you can make this fun interactive spinner card for any occasion. Here are a few supplies I will be using today. I have my Cricut cutting machine, but you can use any cutting machine that will take the SVG file and do the print and cut feature. I also have some Barely Art craft glue. I have a scoring stylus, and then I have my selection of cardstock. And since I'm using the print and cut feature, you will also need your printer and some white cardstock. And then I have a red and two blues. And then for my overall card, it's another full sheet of the white cardstock. So it's pretty much up to any colors you want to choose for your cardstock. You will also need a piece of string. I have some sewing thread, and then you'll need double-sided tape. And I'm also using blue painter's tape just to hold down my cardstock. And then I'm going to show you a trick with the transfer tape so you can glue on the cardstock letters. And then I have my Cricut tool, the scraper, and then I have some foam squares. And the first thing you need to do is download my free SVG template that's available at ginaccreates.com. And you're going to unzip the folder, and inside the open folder you will find my license, and then you will find a sports spinners, and then you'll find the card template, and inside you will find the SVG file. If you are on a Windows PC, it might display as a HTML doc, but that is the SVG, so make sure you upload that. And inside the spinner folder, it comes with 9 different sports for you to choose from. They are all PNG images ready to be printed and cut out with your Cricut. So you definitely should find something you can use for Father's Day or your brother's birthday or your nieces and nephews that are in sports and have a congratulations card. It's definitely great for those sports lovers. So next we're going to open up Cricut Design Space and upload the SVG file of the card base and add it to our canvas, and we're going to make sure I uploaded the correct size, and the card base did not. So we're going to make sure that lock proportion is closed, and we are going to change the width to 10 inches, and it should be by 7. So the overall size is 10 by 7. And then once you have that, you can ungroup it, and you'll see in the layers panel to the right, there is another group. So you can do that arrow down and select that cut line that goes down the center of the card and change it to a score line. And then we're going to select the whole group and just hit attach so that score line can stay on top of the card base when we send it to the mat. And you can drag that layer back down so you can see your other layers. And on top we have our red panel and then our blue ribbon. So we don't need to do anything for the red panel unless you want to change the color. And then the ribbon is 2 layers because I have a dark blue on top of a light blue. And then we are going to add our spinner. So I'm just going to select the baseball spinner, and it is a PNG, and you don't have to edit it. You just save it as a flat graphic and add it to your canvas, and it always imports really big. So we're going to make sure that lock is closed, and we're going to change it to 2.5 inches. And it should be 2.5 inches in height and in width. And the spinner needs to be double-sided, so we are going to right click and hit duplicate. So now we have 2 baseballs that are the exact same size. And then next I'm going to personalize this by adding some text, and I'm going to use all caps and write the word All-Star. I'm going to place it over my banner and size it down and change the color, and then I'm going to use the curve tool, and I am going to curve it to the right so it can be the shape of my banner. And then once I have it the way I like it, I am going to hit attach so all my letters will cut out in one piece. And then I'm going to use the text tool again and type out dad, and I am going to place that on the bottom of the card and change the text to white. And now I have a fun all-star baseball card for dad. And so I'm just going to show you how to make another one. So I selected all and I hit duplicate. And then I'm just going to delete the spinners and delete the text. And then I'm going to upload another spinner, the basketball PNG, and just save it as a print and cut. And then I'm going to make sure I resize it to the 2.5 in width and 2.5 in height. And that should be good for my window. And then I'm just going to right click and hit duplicate so I can have two. And then I'm just going to change the colors to match a sports team. And then I'm going to personalize it with some text again. So I'm just using their Cricut font because it's a nice bold font for my ribbon. And I'm just sizing it down and changing the color. And then curving the text for it to fit inside the banner. So if you have someone birthday coming up and they like the Lakers or Clippers or any NBA team, you can make them a happy birthday card that is an interactive spinner card. So I'm just doing the same thing as I did above and just having this one say happy birthday. And you want to make sure you attach your text if you want it to come out in one piece, if you're going to cut it with vinyl. But I'm going to show you a trick where you don't have to glue it down one by one for cardstock. So I'm just going to make one more card. And this one is going to be for the football fans. So I'm just deleting the text I had and the spinner. And I'm going to go upload that football PNG and add it to my canvas. And for this one, I am going to resize it on the height only and make sure that lock icon is on so it can stay proportioned, and make sure my height is 2.5 inches. And then just duplicate the spinner so you have two for the front and the back. And then you can change the colors for this one as well. And then I'm just going to have this card say Raider Grandpa, or you can have it say Raider Dad, whatever sports team they may like. And then I am ready to cut. So I'm just showing you how the different variations you can make with this spinner card sports bundle. I can't wait to see how you guys are going to create yours. So I'm going to make these ones, and I'm going to make sure that I save my project before I cut. And then I am going to change my mat to be 8.5 by 11 and make sure I utilize all my cardstock spaces. And then you send your print and cut to the printer. Make sure you have bleed on and use system dialog and print on a high quality. And then once that's done printing out, you can line it to the top left hand corner on your mat. And I like to use the blue painter's tape to hold my cardstock down. And then you can just cut them out with your Cricut. And then just finish cutting out the rest of your cardstock mat. And when you peel off a layer that has the text wording, I want to show you that to peel off the cardstock excess first, leaving the letters on the mat, and then take some transfer tape to lift it off. And the transfer tape I'm using is the Contact brand from the Dollar Tree. You can find it in the contact paper section. It's just like the transparent contact paper. And this is not super sticky, but it's sticky enough to lift off your cardstock. But it's not super sticky where it's going to rip any of your paper. So I just place it over my lettering, and I use my Cricut scraper to make sure it's adhered to my paper, and then I just bend it off of my mat, and the cardstock stays on the transfer tape, and then I can flip it over and weed off any of the rest of the cardstock. And now I have all my letters stuck onto the transfer tape, so they're not individually where I have to place them all one by one. Now I can just apply glue to the back and lay them down all together. So I hope you guys try this trick out if you're using cardstock for your wording, or if you have adhesive vinyl, you can definitely use that for your lettering as well. So once we're all done cutting out each layer, we can now begin to assemble our card. I have the card base, and then I have the red window. I have my two spinners. I have my wording on some transfer tape, and then I have my 2 layers of my banner. And then I'm going to use my double-sided tape, my foam tape, and then some Barely Art craft glue, and you're going to need your thread. So first I'm going to start with the spinner, and I'm going to cut a piece of my thread to be as long as my card, or you can make it about 6 inches long. So just a reminder, before you begin to assemble, make sure your cardstock pieces are all facing the same way and you don't have them flipped the opposite way. So you should have more room at the top and the window should be towards the bottom. And so I'm just going to get my double-sided tape so I can attach my string to it. So I'm placing it in the center above the window, and then I'm also placing it in the center below the window, vertically going up. So this is where my string is going to lay down. And then I'm going to take my spinner and I'm going to lay it inside the window face down. And then I'm also going to place my transfer tape vertically on this as well, right in the center. And then I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to make sure it's nice and tight. And I'm going to put it at the top and place it over my spinner and just let it hang towards the bottom. I'm not adhering it to the bottom just yet, just so I can move it around and get it how I want it. And I am going to place some craft glue on the back of my baseball spinner, and I'm going to close it up with the other baseball. And I'm just going to let that dry. And next I am going to pull that string and make sure it's nice and tight and attach it to the bottom of the window. And then I'm just going to add some more craft glue over that. And then I am going to place a bunch of craft glue on the back of my red card window. And then I'm going to place that over to cover up my string that I just put down on the front of the card. And then I'm going to let that dry. And then next I'm going to put together my banner. And I am going to start with the lettering for my banner. It is the All-Star, so I'm just going to flip it over and add small amounts of glue to the back of each letter while it's still attached to the transfer tape. And then I'm just going to flip it over and place it onto the top banner that is the shortest and place it right in the center. And I'm going to let that dry before I peel off the transfer tape. So just set that aside and then place some foam dots or foam squares to the back of the banner. And then once that's done drying, you can peel off the transfer tape and layer it on top of the foam tape and make sure it's nice and centered. And then on the back of this, you can add some craft glue, and we are going to place it above the spinner window, right in the center. And then for the dad wording, we're going to place some craft glue on the back of those letters as well, while it's still on the transfer tape, and place it to the front of the card. And my video cut out, so you didn't get to see the rest, but I just removed the transfer tape and I folded over the score line, and my card was done. So we can just spin up the baseball and then open it, and you have a fun interactive spinner card for that special dad. So please let me know what you guys think. I also created the happy birthday basketball spinner card, and then I went ahead and made the Raider Grandpa football card. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel and head over to GinaCCreates.com for the free template.